To guide or to be guided. It seems simple, but you will understand the depth of it in a moment. When people act, they are building something. When they react, they are building something for others or for those who stimulated them. So, acting or reacting is something very important. It makes a huge difference in your life. When you are acting, you are building for yourself. When you are reacting according to those who are stimulating you. It is the same thing as guiding or being guided. If you are putting your ideas forward, putting your ideas into practice, building the things you perceive and want to do, or things are coming and taking you here, there in some way. These differences are very important for us to know, for us to understand. I have a model that I always talk about, which is an important model that I always use: the executive, legislative, and judicial branches within us. We execute things, we plan things, we judge, we analyze. We have a metacognition based on what we have already done or are even doing. And this doing is even planning. As we plan, we are judging, you know? So the legal system is within you, the legislative system of planning for the future is within you, and the executive system is basically you, okay? The execution, you put the execution, you do it, you think, but you have a plan for the future and you judge things better. You think and plan, is it good, is it not? You can use metacognition for this, which is a very cool thing. So I've repeated this to you several times. I'm just reminding you so we can get an idea. Intelligence is in the DNA. Normally, and I've told you a few times, I even say that true spirituality is Dana. True spirituality is Dana because it comes from DNA. Because many plants and other animals have some kind of rituals, including birth, death, and reproduction rituals. They are rituals. When it comes to human ritual, we humans also have a lot of rituals, a lot of different religiosities, and these different religiosities are almost an adaptation of our ways of being. In the environment where we are. If we were in very cold areas, icy mountains, we would behave in one way. If we are in hot areas or near the sea, we would behave in another way. But sometimes our behavior is generated by those who came to colonize. It is generated by the invader, by the predatory explorer. That's pretty cool, right? Sometimes you go to another region to explore that region and bring benefits to your region. In fact, every time you leave one place and go to another place, you are simply increasing your size. You were just this place and now you are here and there together. Everywhere you go, you are this one here, but you join everything you've been to. But there are people who are different. I go to another place, explore and pray on the other place and bring the goods and gold from that place here. That's what Europe did to us. It came here and took all the gold from here, or a good part of the gold, but it also left some concepts of exploration. But this exploration of our territory, exploit a predatory exploitation, an exploitation that when it finishes exploiting, everything dries up, everything dies, including people. And it's important for us to know this, people. The people who were here on this continent were people, they were peoples, the indigenous peoples, the Amerindian peoples. They had knowledge and still have knowledge that where he perceives himself to be. So the body is not just the body that it's this body here inside. No, it's here the volume where it is perceived. So it involves the forests, the rivers where these individuals are, The places you've been to are part of your life, part of your territory. If you've traveled the entire planet, your body, the territory is the planet, and you are responsible for the good of all the places you've been to. That's my idea. So the countries I've been to, I'm responsible for their good. There is no country, there is only one planet. We are on this planet, we are responsible for this planet. And it is important for us to know this and differentiate, because some people simply continue with the ancestral antiquated vision of going there to prey, predatory, exploitative, predatory, and also to prey on people's minds. Okay, let's go act or react. In a digital environment, disorganizes our legislature, disorganizes our planning. Why does it disorganize our neural legislative system, okay? And it reprograms our mistakes. Look how interesting. In the digital world, you're there, you're to act or to react, to guide or to be guided. I was on Facebook and that guided me. I was on Twitter and that guided me. That caught my attention. That gave me an emotion. When I put an emotion, attention, remember the tensional selves, a self appears, a different self appears. Guided by news that wasn't mine. Instead of acting, I just reacted to what came. I stopped being guided by social networks. And one comes, another comes, another comes, another comes, you go and you are guided and you are guided. It may not seem like it, but an image comes, a yellow one, a blue one. I like this yellow one, I like this one. Look at a joke, look at I don't know what. You are being guided. You are no longer practicing the act or the being. You are simply reacting. You have stopped being. The being acts. When you stop being, you will only react. And you will react depending on who is controlling the party, right? The environment, the digital environment is controlled by robots. Robots and artificial intelligence control digital environments, social networks, robots, obviously, okay? So when you scroll through your timeline, or when you scroll through or look at your feed, you reorganize what you know, you put what you already know, you pull up your memory, but you also change what you are being. Look, when you pull up your screen and your Facebook, your Twitter, you organize what you already know, you put up your ideas, you pull up your memory, but you also reconfigure, you reorganize what you are being, you change it. You stopped acting, you are reacting, you stopped setting the agenda, you are being set the agenda. By whom? By an artificial intelligence that injects data into your feed, that injects data into your Twitter. That is the idea of today's life. When will you start taking action? And stop reacting. Act like this. My plan is to do such and such. I'm not going to look at the internet to do such and such. I have a plan. I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to act. So I'm proactive and not reactive. I'm not going to be dictated to. I'm going to dictate, okay. But our society, as before, has predators, exploiters who come and go to try to prey on you and exploit you. But we, in our culture, in our way of being, had and are and belong to ourselves. Those who are here in the American continent, in some cultures, realize that we are everything around us. Anyone who has a house and likes it and enters the house gives the impression of, no, Suksa, I'm home, now I'm going to recover, okay? But when you go on the bus, you are also the bus. When you go to some places, you are also that place, because we are body and territory. But our territory was kidnapped from us and our body was imprisoned. Katsuki, what's this idea you're talking about, man? The idea is as follows. European cultures say that they had great spirits, noble spirits, and the body is evil by nature. Because the body is a territorial body, it encompasses everything. But I want to explore territory, so I have to imprison the body, and I call it evil. And I lock people into a body that is limited in its expression of being. It is a body now that will only react because the body is territory it acts. Now the body reduced, minimized, disregarded, saying that now the spirits, the nobility of the rules and the nobles. Remember the nobility of the rules and the nobles? We are talking about a republic which imposes rules from the top down. And whoever exploits, the exploiter, who is the European, comes and also imposes and exploits our cognition, and puts in us that the thoughts of the European philosophers are noble and blah blah blah, and the body is evil by nature. Lie. Do you understand? It is imposing a prison on you, and the body becomes a prison because it was a body territory. Not now. It is just a limited body and a body of pain. It is not a mother of pleasure. It is a cognitive prison, because it is something that is dominating your head, your perception, and not in reality. Evidently, it is a social perception because it is imposed from top to bottom. Continued, this colonialism continues in our heads, okay? Because you see, colonialism is about conquering and explore territories, capture the bodies of individuals north. You can see that we can, and many people think that we always have the wide open syndrome. Oh, Europeans are smarter, Germans are smarter, blah, blah, blah. People from the north are smarter. This syndrome is put in our heads and we are always reacting to what is being said. Let's go. On top of that, there is also one thing, that when you are being targeted, the people who want to target you will target you and will inoculate the virus. To guide and inoculate the virus is as follows. Remember the sense, the chorea sense? The human chorea sense is the chorea sense. When the information that arrives in common to all of us, we have a belonging that arrives, we have common sense in the information that arrives, okay? But these people who control, who explore territories and exploit minds and hearts, right? Gordon, here is a dilemma of the political left and right. Exploiting minds and hearts is not letting people live, it is exploiting, it is conquering, preying. Look, when this person, when we are guided, when we are going to react against something, at that moment when we are going to react, an I appears. At that moment when we are guided, whoever sets the agenda induces misinformation, and misinformation becomes the point of belonging. So we all come together on the basis of belonging. Time always recycled in my head that the people who exploit other people, like to use avatars, like to use politicians, like to use religious people, like to use leaders. But there are natural leaders, there are artificial leaders, of course. Have you ever noticed that sometimes there were some people in your region who were nothing, and suddenly they were senators, they were nothing, suddenly they were congressmen, they were nothing, suddenly they were presidents, ministers? You think it's strange? What's that all about? When the digital age came along, it got worse. In the digital age, people use political avatars. So people who have almost, 1,000, 10,000 followers, but have a good profile to be an avatar, suddenly I redistribute them somehow and they have 5 million followers, 10 million followers. I somehow transfer the follower to that person and create a political avatar, a political internet leader. Through this avatar, I spread misinformation and agendas. People will react to what this avatar says. So when a congressman avatar, for example, talks on social media about more than 10 million people, what he says causes a reaction. It is the agenda of 10 million people. But this agenda, together with this reaction, creates misinformation, a virus. And look, when these representatives set the agenda, when these avatars set the agenda, they set the agenda with rhetoric, with lies. But people believe them because they are emotionally driven. There is a tensional self that appears. And with this rhetoric, they accept misinformation. And what I find most absurd, these avatars are arrested, or are reported, or become defendants. I was watching yesterday's report of Bolsonaro and others and such, and I noticed that Bolsonaro is one of these avatars, and Bolsonaro is an avatar that is being judged, and he says, look, it's rhetoric. What I said is all a lie. It's all rhetoric. It's politics. Only the crazy people who believed in me. Okay, fine. I'm not going to question him. But above him, it's the financial system. Above it is something that no one can reach. Then you take and burn the avatar. But the one who placed the avatar is the predatory exploiter. It's the one who wants a smaller state, but lives off the state. So it's important for you to know this. Those who want a smaller state are usually those at the top, the 0.1% of the population, the richest. They want a smaller state because they live off the state. I'll give you an example. It's not today's live about this, but I'll give you a simple example, for example, from agriculture. So you know how things work up there. If you take 20 million in agriculture, for example, you can take 20 million, take 12, throw it at the inspector's wall, take 8, pretend you're planting and create a bunch of networks of I don't know what, of applications and options so that if you don't plant the right crops and don't harvest the right crops, you'll still get your money back. But you've already thrown out the 12 million, you understand? So you simply take money and make the money, these goods leave the system, and the system loses its money metabolism. The money has to circulate for things to work. But I've already taken 12 and I throw it away, and with 8 I pretend that I've done something and I go to the financial market, I invest, I make options, and that, oh, I'm broke, I'm bankrupt, I still earn insurance on it because there was no harvest, because there was a drought. So you notice this 0.1% of the population that earns a lot of money regardless of the country's situation is usually taking away the economic metabolism. It makes the metabolism, the economy, run on money for money and investments and speculations. So this is very important. They are predatory explorers and also prey on our minds to know the following: less state, less tax, less state. For what? To speculate more, to leverage more, to be able to take foreign currency, to throw everything in a tax haven. I was really scared when I got to the bank, even in the United States, and the bank manager said, look, how about we lend you some money, you take all this money and invest it? How am I going to take money and invest it? That's real. That's not possible. There's no economic metabolism there. No, but that's how it is. So I went to another investment place. No, we take your money and throw it all in a tax haven. Take away the economic metabolism, take away this vision, because they are predators, predatory exploiters. And it is very important for you to know this. Look, calm down. What is happening to our economy? What is happening to our Congress, which is making it easier for the money to leak out? Understand what's going on. Break, because it doesn't have that metabolism. Okay, let's go back now to acting and reacting. To guide is to be guided. And I'm going to tell you something very interesting. Social networks anticipate and reinforce patterns, creating a standard self in you, which is predictable and monetizable. Let's go there again. Social networks, when you are not acting, you are reacting to social networks, anticipates and reinforces your patterns in you. And it creates a standard Zeus within you. It reinforces, you create a standard which sees your behavior, and it takes these standards that are predictable and monetizable. This is a social network with artificial intelligence, understand? So the social network plays with us with our data and manipulates our perception, manipulates our attentional selves, and injects a virus of disinformation into them. Or it makes the patterns that will appear in you, the predictable patterns, and monetizes the pattern. That's it. This is a social network. What can we do to move towards action instead of this reaction that I'm talking about? Look, there's a glider explorer. Look at the social networks. Everything scares us a lot, right? So we're going to do this. We're going to flip this, flip this. How about you be the guy? How about you be the superpowered woman, the superpowered person, the creator? And this is the idea that we're going to talk to you about now. You will act and not just react, and that is not that difficult. You who are actually watching the video are noticing me now. Okay. This perception is an image inside your brain. This perception you have of me is an image created in your brain. This image created in your brain you built within a model of who I am. You are making a model of who I am. If it is the first time you see me, you already create a model and take a look. No, the person, the hair, the eyes, the way is similar to this, is similar to my uncle, to my cousin, to my friend, to I don't know who, is similar to this, is similar to that, is a snob, is not a snob, is handsome, is ugly, is I don't know what, wears glasses, is blind. If you create a model, if you create a standard, you create a classification. And the sound you are hearing, since it is in 2D, just video and image, it is a simulation of reality. You will create this image with your projection, which is 12D. Even the smell I may be having right now, the molecules that come out of me. You have a perception of the world and you project it. You see, your mind inside you. An image of me. You may call this image Jackson, but it is an image of you. It has little to do with who I really am, but it is an image of you. You created this image, and it is a biased image. Why? You created it with me. That sometimes was tense, was not tense, was attentive or not attentive, was afraid, was desirous, was hungry. The self created this image because it is the self that perceives things, the self within these texts. But when you see that someone, you activate it. When you catch this person, when you see them again, you will take this model that I have and you can change me tomorrow. If it is different, watch my video again the day after in the morning. When you see it again, you reconstruct the image because you recruit the image that you have of me inside your brain and reconstruct it for the next live. Or if one day you are watching me, you will guess my movements that are happening and you will adapt whether it is really happening or not, but you are creating an image of me in your brain. This is your construction, this is your world. It is not a world that has anything to do with me, but it has everything to do with you. And then what happens when the world is yours? If I want to trick you, I'll say something, I'll use rhetoric, I'll lie, I'll act like a politician, I'll promise things that are lies, but I'll engage you, I'll pull you along, I'll throw some groups at you to get excited, I'll make you a fighter against my enemies. What matters is to speak ill of someone and you'll start believing it and you'll become a fighter against my enemies. No, but you're smart. Now you saw my image, you created that image within yourself, and that image of yourself, you're using it to improve yourself. You are using it to enhance your own creativity. You are using the image that you have perceived that is inside you now. This image that you perceived is inside you. You are using it to improve yourself. And then we will enter a process in which we need metacognition, because there is one thing that is the image that is inside you, and there is the image that is outside, the one that is on your screen now, or when you see me on the street, the image that you will see outside, a whole person outside. But there is an image inside and an image outside. And metacognition will say, look, the image inside is mine, I created it, it is my perception. And well then, the image that I have inside I can optimize, I can perfect, I can make it change. So I, within some people, can become a guru, an angel, a teacher, a university student, a scientist, a friend, a nice guy, a woman. It's a woman, I don't know. You create it the way you want because you create this image. You put these gestures the way I am, the way you want, and create something inside you. And then you use metacognition. By creating my image within you with metacognition, you will understand this image is yours. You will not project expectations onto me because the image is yours. It is your reality, it is your construction, and suddenly my image within you, I am holy. And when you see me as a saint, but I am not a saint. Your metacognition will say, look, one thing is the image of Jackson inside me, another thing is the Jackson outside of me. So do you understand? This is an important construction which you will then build an image within yourself of the people you know. You may be remembering your father, your mother, your brother, your neighbor. You can place their image and create their image of perfection within your process of thinking about this person. So you place it in the perfection that you see, that you perceive, that can help your life. And this perfection, you enter into a process in the creation of light from the brain images that you create. It is your light, it is your sky. Yes, but you use a process of metacognition because many of these images, they simulate a being that they are not, to deceive you. But there is a metacognitive filter. This filter says this image will help you a lot. The image of my wife, my own image, okay? Maybe my own image. I also see myself in the mirror. I see myself through the tears. I have an image of myself. I can build this image of myself noble and elevated, man, but I know that in real life I will fail here, there. Okay, but another thing is in my speculations, in my ideas, in my intellectuality, to step on one idea and another idea and build other ideas. Do you notice that I am acting? I am not reacting because I am building on the ideas, on my perception of what I created, what I saw in reality, not on a screen, even though you are listening to me through a screen. But what I saw, what I perceived, I create that as noble within myself and use those images. And even the imagined images, I'm imagining it, I create my dreams. So you structure the beauty, you create your heaven, your creation, your maximum performance in what you perceive and what is here inside, without projecting it onto other people. The expectation, because if you put your expectation of how I spirituality, the day you see me, it will be a huge frustration. I am flesh and blood and normal and will make mistakes and have my tantrums. I have my things, that's right. Yes, but you can't degrade your image. Your image you only highlight, you will only qualify it because the brain images of the people you know and see every time you meet people. Every time you come into contact with them again, you guess again what they're going to do, and you keep improving, but always in your internal image, you've improved people a lot. They won't come close to your image. Of course not, because you use your image, but you can redo the good parts of it and improve the good parts. And the bad parts, as a cousin of mine who's now deceased says, highlight the good in people. In your images here too, highlight what is good in them and live with this reality of what is good in people. And you act according to your perception. And sometimes a perception that you sometimes had with me, that I already told this person that it is my evil, you will react to this image, you will not build it, you will put more fear in it. It is a lack of action, it is a process of action too, but the negative, you will destroy yourself inside yourself. What you perceive is your world. You realize it is your construction and you can act on what you perceive. And on social media or with your political leader and religious avatars, be careful. They may be guiding their rhetoric in you, their lies in you, and social media too, to create in you their predictable patterns on social media, monetizable and vote getting. And in the politicians who follow and Volta too. Guys, that's what I wanted to leave with you. A big hug. See you next Wednesday.